In the statistics, do you know what people said was their number one way of coping with the burnout of financial stress? It was bed rotting. Do you know what bed rotting is? When you lay in bed for hours, scrolling, watching Netflix, and you just don't get up. You just rot in bed. Because people are actually using that as a mechanism to numb themselves from the anxiety and the stress of their financial situation. You know what that is? It's a golden calf. I need something to take the place. I need something to fill the void. What was the golden calf made out of? Gold. Right there in the title. Aaron told them, I want you to bring all your rings and all your jewelry to me to make this golden calf. Do you know where they got all that gold jewelry from? When they were leaving Egypt, the Bible says that God caused the Egyptians to show favor to the Israelites, and they literally threw jewelry and ornaments and precious stones and linens and all this stuff they gave to the Israelites as they were leaving Egypt. This is so profound. God knew exactly what he was going to invite them into in the wilderness, and so he resources them with the very things that they are going to need to give to God to build the tabernacle before they ever knew that God was going to do it. He was already throwing things into their lap. So they're walking out with this jewelry, they're putting it on, they're in the wilderness. And then Moses goes missing. And Aaron says, bring me your jewelry. Bring me your gold. And they use the very same resources that God was going to use for his tabernacle. They use it for the golden calf instead. They use the same resources to make a replacement for God's vision. When you spend hours on social media, you're using the same resource, your time, that was given to you by God. The same resource you're using for something that's not productive, when the same time could be used for something that brings God glory. The jewelry was given to them in one form. It was personal, it was individual. It was jewelry that they would hang on their ears and their necks and their wrists. But not only that, it was Egyptian jewelry, which means that it represented the Egyptian culture and identity and values, just as art does, even to this day. Art from certain cultures represents that culture, and it's expressed through the art. So they're walking around in the wilderness with Egyptian art all over themselves. The gold had to be reshaped for a new purpose. The question today is, what is going to mold your gold? God has given all of us gold. He's given you time. He's given you resources, talents, skills, know-how, wisdom, your personality. He's given all of you gold in his eyes. And that same resource, the world is going to pull on. The world's going to say, I can show you how to shape that according to my pattern. Or you can let the Lord say, here's my blueprint for what I've given to you. Here's my blueprint for your life.